Good morning, everyone. It's been a hot minute. This is Ashley Nix Lindsley, your online early interventionist. I have a master's degree in early intervention and 9 years of experience teaching young children, including 4 in special needs. And today's brief topic is early intervention, what you would do for children from ages 3 to 5, what to look out for. So I'm just going to share some brief basic information from my handout, which you can also download from my website, which I'll have a link in below, mobileteacherscorner.square.site. And that download will also have some very helpful links for parents at the end of it. So just getting right into it, so this doesn't end up being a 30-minute video podcast, whatever you want to call it. What is early intervention? Well, early intervention, it involves anticipating, identifying, and responding to developmental delays so that you can foster healthy development and minimize adverse effects of disabilities in young children. Early intervention often includes planned activities, intentional strategies to promote typical development in all areas of life, not just academic. Milestones for healthy development. There are lots of milestones that children meet between birth and age 6. Every child, of course, develops at different rates and at different times, but generally in the same linear progression. Preschool age early interventions, they're more targeted to delays that have already been identified, especially if you have been receiving early intervention services in the home prior to preschool age. Some goals that usually are worked on in a classroom setting or in an intervention setting, perhaps for homeschool. For 3 to 5-year-olds, you're definitely wanting to look at increasing functional skills, social skills, speech, and if you're planning to enter into public school, school readiness. Milestones for 3 to 5-year-old children, there's a ton of them for sure. By the time a child is 4 years old, for the most part, they have pretty increased independence. They can be fully potty trained, believe it or not, absolutely. They can follow basic rules and routines. They can take turns with others. They trust adults other than their parents, so teachers, therapists, other family members. They're comfortable being left alone with them. They have lots of physical flexibility and increased coordination. They can use objects like writing tools such as pencils, markers, paintbrushes, and scissors with increased accuracy and strength. They're willing to try a lot of new foods, new experiences that may be difficult for them. They have increased language understanding and vocabulary. Children by the age of 4, they can produce many letter sounds. Even if they don't recognize a lot of letters, they can produce those sounds. They should know quite a few numbers. They should be able to look at environmental prints, such as, for instance, the McDonald's sign and know that that's McDonald's, or look at a cereal box and know what kind of cereal that is, even if they can't particularly read it. And they should definitely be able to recognize their name and print and be able to respond to their name. If you're calling your child's name and they're 4 years old and they're not recognizing that that's their name, that's definitely a big delay. By the time children are 5 and 6 years old, they should be able to sustain attention for something they like to do, a preferred activity, for maybe about 10 or 15 minutes. If it's something you want them to do, maybe about 5 or 6 minutes. They'll continue to increase social skills and language expression using more than 2 and 3 word sentences. They'll be using all kinds of different types of words and should be absorbing a lot of language within the house and within the school setting. By the time they're 6, they should be able to identify all of their letters and all of the basic sounds. They should be able to have basic counting and numeracy skills. By age 6, probably they should be able to count by 100. That's the school standard. Don't freak out if your 6-year-old can't count to 100. That's okay. It's a very hard school skill. They would definitely want to at least be able to count to 20 by the time that they entered kindergarten. That is definitely something that is within reach. You should definitely have some self-help skills, being able to use the bathroom by yourself, being able to tie your own shoes. Yes, they can learn. You have to teach them. Being able to operate their own clothing like zippers and ties and buttons, being able to work with their belt clasps, being able to grab a snack from the kitchen. Definitely knowing some self-help information like your parents' names, not just mom and dad, the address where you live, your phone number or the phone number that you would call in case of an emergency, how to dial 911. Those are some very basic information that a 6-year-old should definitely know. At the very least, should be working on knowing. They should be able to follow and understand rules. Children are extremely smart. If you put a rule in place and explain why, and they see the benefit of that rule, they're more likely to follow it. So don't underestimate children's intelligence. They really do understand a lot, even by the time they're just 6. You should be engaging in reasoning and problem solving by this age, being able to work out a problem by talking it out with an adult or with a friend. And you should be able to regulate emotions most of the time. Obviously, everybody has a bad day, especially children, but by the time they're 6, children should be able to not be crying all day by the time they go to school. They should not have severe distress when separating from a parent or from their home. So if you're seeing those types of emotional reactions, that might be indicative of a social emotional delay or an area that really needs working on. There's lots of things that you can do at home and in your community that are completely free to help foster normal development in your children. Reading to your child every day, exposing them to music and direct communication, talking to your children like they're adults, not using baby language, so to speak. You want to explore your child's interests and preferences. If your child is really interested in building things, that's a fantastic thing to learn about. Whatever they're interested in, let them explore what they're interested in, because that's going to give them a love for learning and help them when they get to learning things that they really don't want to learn. Chores and self-help skills. You can develop so many different skills just by helping out mom and dad around the house. For children ages 3 to 5, they should be able to sort and help wash clothes, put them in the laundry. They should be able to dress themselves. They should be able to set the table. Take care of their own toys, put their own toys away when they're cleaning their room, and they should be able to follow a daily routine. I highly, highly, highly recommend using a visual schedule for children and letting them be in charge of, oh, well, hey, we finished brushing our teeth this morning. Here's the next thing that we do. We get ready for school. Definitely give some children some power in their day, but also some structure. We all need structure, especially children. Social interaction, taking your children to the park, to different community events and experiences, frequently going to the library and participating in those programs. These are all ways that you can get your child social interaction without it being in a structured setting. And the more social interaction, the better. We don't want recluse children. Going outdoors to play and exploring nature. If you're in an area like Hot Springs, there's tons of nature places that you can take your children to explore and learn. Including your child in grocery shopping, planning what to get from the store, teaching them really basic money skills while you're doing those things, just the value of, hey, when we want food, we have to pay money for these things. Helping them, letting them help you cook, whether it's just washing the vegetables or putting something in a bowl and helping mix it. Children really, really benefit from helping out in the kitchen and in the daily lives of their families. I also recommend interactive learning videos. I really love the Jack Hartman music channel. He's got a ton of learning topics for through middle elementary school. Most of them are put to song and dance. Have Fun Teaching and Go Noodle are also other good YouTube channels, and then PBS Kids website. They've got tons of stuff on there that are appropriate for children and educational and value. Math and literacy activities using household items and food. Going back to the environmental print, having your children tell you, oh, what kind of cereal? What does that say? What kind of cereal is that? Oh, what was that restaurant that they just went to on that TV show? Counting with cereal. Again, identifying basic money, just colors and identifying letters around the house. Anything can be a learning activity, and it doesn't have to cost a thing. Recommendations for children ages 3 to 5. Again, I would use a visual schedule for children. You can make your own with interchangeable activities or have one with a basic sequence of important routines and events. Some examples I would include for home-age children that aren't yet in school would be having breakfast, self-care, maybe reading time, outdoor time, chores or helping time, school time. Let your child be in charge of that schedule. When I was in the classroom, we had a laminated visual schedule. It had pictures of the children and their activities, and it had the times of day on there. So from 9 to 10, we were doing X activity. And we had a clip. So when time passed and we went from one activity to the next, the child was in charge of moving the clip. It helps them learn a little bit about the passing of time. It makes transitions from one activity to the next easier, and again gives the child a little bit of agency in their day. If you have them make the schedule with you, they love it even more because they feel like that they put some work into it and it's something that they helped you decide. Young children really, really benefit from feeling like they have a sense of power over their day, as don't we all. Invest in your child's interests. If your child is obsessed with Minions, make every learning activity about Minions. Whatever gets them interested in learning. If they're interested in dinosaurs, plan things about dinosaurs. Whatever is going to motivate your child to work through difficult tasks, especially if they're going through a particularly rough period or intervention when they don't want to sit down and read, they don't want to learn how to count or learn how to tie their shoes. Using things that they're interested as motivational tools is totally appropriate. For instance, if you do this activity, you can earn some TV time. Or if you do these two things and we're not throwing a fit, maybe that earns you some points towards buying a toy. I don't consider it bribery. We all need incentives, and young children need physical, tangible incentives. There's definitely a difference between bribing a child with a lollipop to stop screaming and giving your child a goal to work toward and helping them meet that goal and rewarding them when they meet that goal. So I highly recommend that. One of my biggest recommendations, and if you're keeping up with the research, you should know, limit your screen time for children ages 6 and under to 2 hours a day. That includes educational programs. Research continues to show that the more screen time a young child has, or any of us have, the lower the attention span is. It affects the way that your brain works, and it affects how young children learn, and it really can be damaging to young children's brains and social development. So please, please, please limit your screen time to 2 hours a day, even if it's something that's educational. And again, give your child choices. Children, we all like choices. We want to feel like we have a choice in a matter if it's something we don't want to do. So for instance, do you want to brush your teeth first or take your bath first? Would you like to read a book first or do your math first? Would you like to try the carrots or the corn? You're giving them an option so they have power, but you're not giving them the option to say no. It doesn't work every time, but it really does help reduce tantrums. And it makes your child feel powerful as well, and that's something that's important. The helpful websites, I will go ahead and mention them, but they will be in the download link if you go to my website. First Connections Arkansas, since I live in Arkansas, this helps to connect and inform families about early intervention in Arkansas. The CDC website has a page for child development that has very detailed information and lists of milestones that your child should be meeting. Pathways.org has resource links for parents of children 5 and under. Understood.org has links for preschool readiness and articles, among many other resources for parents of children of all ages. And if your child hasn't entered kindergarten yet, 1,000 books before kindergarten is a great incentive to get reading. And I would also check out Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. Basically, you can get free books every month to read to your children. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions or concerns about early intervention, again, you can click on my website. Feel free to send me a message or go to my Facebook page, Mobile Teachers Corner, and I'm more than happy to chat about anything early intervention or young children. I hope that this information was helpful, and we'll see you guys next time.